This is Xavier with Gotta Be Mobile, and this is the new iPhone 10 here on the right. On the left, I have the iPhone 8 Plus. Both are great phones, but I want to talk a little bit about the iPhone 10's display. The iPhone 10's display uses organic light emitting diodes. That's just a fancy way of saying that the display is finally using the latest smartphone technology. You may have heard of OLED displays in the latest and greatest TVs. Samsung's devices such as the Galaxy Note 8 and Galaxy S8 have had OLED before, but this is the first iPhone with OLED technology. Now what that means to you is there's a greater contrast, it's a brighter display, it's just more vibrant overall. In fact, if you're not watching this video on an OLED display, such as the iPhone 10's display, you're gonna have kind of a problem even telling the difference maybe here. What you will be able to tell is that this phone on the right is a lot brighter than the phone on the left. So I've gone ahead and I'll turn both of these up, make sure both of these are turned up to full brightness. You'll see that's full brightness here on the iPhone 10. The iPhone 8 Plus has full brightness here on the left. And if we switch over to an app, let's say the Photos app, and I've set the same photo on each, you'll actually be able to see a pretty big difference here. So again, it might be challenging to see on your display, but you'll see that the one on the right is just overall a brighter image. Let me get rid of the editing tools there. It's more vibrant, and it means that the iPhone 10's display is noticeably better. Now, the iPhone 10's display, you'll see, is smaller in a lot of formats. Now, it's advertised as being a great big display in a small package, and it is, but if you want the absolutely most screen real estate, you'll want to go with the iPhone 8 Plus. And as you can see here, this is a direct comparison. And as you can see, this picture, if I bring it down here and line up the bottoms of the picture, the bottom of the picture is now aligned from the left to the right. You'll see that the iPhone 8 Plus's version of the photo is actually taller and wider. Now, there's just nothing you can do about that, even though the iPhone 10's bezels go edge to edge. This phone is bigger, it has a bigger usable amount of screen. You'll also see that the iPhone 10's display, let me get the editing tools open for you, it has sharp corners on the edge. So the edge of the display, you've got a 90-degree angle on all four corners. You switch over to here, the iPhone 10, and you'll see that you've got curves here. So even though Apple advertises these dimensions being edge to edge, a lot of content gets clipped and rounded, which can be kind of funny. This is most noticeable if you're looking at the corners of, say, a video you have playing full screen. Another thing you'll notice about the iPhone 10 is the notch up top. The notch up top isn't really accounted for in Apple's marketing material in terms of measuring the phone. Nobody talks about the square inches or square centimeters that a phone's display has. They always talk about diagonal measurements. So again, from the top corner to the bottom corner on the opposite side. This notch does take out some of that real estate. The iPhone 8 Plus and iPhone 8 and every other iPhone is just straight across. So again, you have to take that into account when comparing phones. Now, you might want to use the iPhone 8 Plus if you absolutely need a bigger screen. Some examples of that are people that use spreadsheets on their phones or that don't have multiple devices. If you're going to watch, for example, football or basketball games on your phone, this one might be a better choice. The iPhone 10, like I said, nothing beats it in terms of the overall image quality, but it can be tough to watch sports. And that's because what happens is sports in general will have information, they'll have scores, they'll have a lot of stuff on the screen, and what happens is it just becomes too tough to read on the relatively small screen, especially when you take into account this notch. The sports are sometimes, depending on the network, depending on the app that you're using, you will get double letterbox effects. So you'll have a effect on the top and you'll have one on the sides, and that can get super annoying.